could have given up, but you didn't. You could have stopped believing, but you didn't. You could have kept living their expectations, but you decided to make this life your own. And in turn, you're here. Hello everyone, today we're meeting my friend Marjorie Vail. She is a public speaker, a mindset coach, and a trauma therapist. She is also a businesswoman and a founder of her own company and Merak.
Yes.
Marjorie, why don't you share with us your story of becoming the person you are today, and how has it all started for you?
Well, usually when people change their lives, sometimes it's because of trauma. Like
Right.
they go through something difficult and they realize, they ask themselves, what is life? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? For me, it was losing our son. So I feel like that started the trajectory of me trying to figuring out that I was here for a bigger purpose, right? One, being a voice for other families that had stillbirth, which is something we experienced 18 years ago. But as I started doing advocacy work and doing pageants, using pageants as a way to use my voice, I started to realize that I love public speaking and I love teaching. I was a teacher for over 20 years. And so I tried to figure out how to combine those two. So that's how I ended up where I am right now.
Okay, so you've been a teacher in a public school, in elementary
Correct.
school?
Yeah, public, private, adult education for English language learners, all types of education, yeah.
Oh, wow. And it's been a long journey for you to become an entrepreneur and a mindset coach. Along that journey of success, what did you learn? What was your biggest lesson of all that shaped you to becoming that person who can inspire others?
Well, I think, as much as we like to think when we start something, like our goal isn't to inspire others, it is. But initially it was because I was trying to find peace, I was trying to find a way to not lose myself, lose my mind.
Yes.
So, that was the initial goal. And then I think along the way, I realized that someone could benefit from my story. They may not have experienced the same story, but they can they can understand or be encouraged by the story of triumph, of overcoming, and say, you know what, I can do that too.
Yeah, that's true. And also, like, if you have somebody who could support you along the way, I think that's very important for people to believe in themselves and to know that they can do it. Right. Who was that support for you?
Oh, I had different support. I definitely have my husband who was a support. I have my friends who, whatever I do, they're like, okay, yeah, we're here for it. We're supporting. So of course you have your family and your friends, but also I definitely invested in coaches who helped me to get further. Because sometimes you can, with your knowledge, you can get up to a certain point, but a coach can get you past the point where you're stuck. And so I invested in about 3 coaches in different areas and different times of my life, and that really helped me out a lot. But at some point, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. So yeah, those were my support team.
Yeah, I think coaches, they could pull out the best out of you. And a lot of people struggling with finding that voice within themselves, so they need somebody to kind of show them what they can do, and so they can grow personally and professionally. So there are a lot of women who might feel like they're not satisfied, or they're feeling stuck in their jobs, and they're trying to get out of that situation. What would you advise them? What kind of practical tools they might use to to explore their potential in life.
Right. For me, the first thing, one of my biggest advice is find a hobby, or if you have something that you enjoy, do it. Usually it's through those hobbies that you figure out what you love to do. Like, for example, for me, when I was younger, I always wanted to do pageants, but I got married pretty young. I got married when I was 25.
Okay.
And once you get married, you can't do the Miss pageant, so I had to find Mrs. pageants. And it was through doing those pageants that I realized, oh wow, I love public speaking.
Yes.
I think I'm good at it, you know. And I of course got, you know, took lessons and practice and stuff like that. But it was through that hobby that I started to develop and understand deeper the things that I love. So my first advice is to, what is your hobby? What do you like to do? And explore that and invest in that.
Right. Yeah, everything starts with something small. If you just think it's a hobby and you know, you can kind of like treat it as a job yet, but still there's something in you that that's calling you towards exploring that area of your life. And maybe it's something unknown you never tried, or maybe it was your idea like a long time ago to try it, and now you have that time, and maybe once you start doing it, you can see yourself emerging from, you know, the point that you're in into somebody that you can be.
Yes. Like for me, I knew I liked teaching, but I knew I didn't like teaching the way that the system has me teaching. I didn't love it. I felt trapped. But I knew I loved teaching, so I had to figure out, okay, what kind of teaching do I like? So do you see? So I've always known in myself that I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I was a literacy coach for 5 years. I love coaching, but it was not that I disliked literacy coaching. It was just like I wanted to do it in a way that inspired me. And so I figured out, okay, I like education and I like coaching. How can I combine it, right? So it's that exploration and knowing, and you could know like, okay, I love teaching, but I don't like teaching this, or I don't like teaching in that way. What kind of teaching can I do?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and also being open that there are different tools out there to start your own business, or even as a hobby, and then that hobby could turn into business. So you never know what you will find along the way. But the thing is, you have to start first. You have to be willing to take that first step, and then you will see more once you know, you kind of explore it.
And you got to be, and you may even realize that you start something and it's not what you like, and that's okay too. I think sometimes people feel like they're stuck. And they have to stick with it because I said, and everybody knows that I started, and it's like, no, it's okay. So long as you're breathing, you can transcend or change to anything that you like to be.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's important for us to pay attention the way we feel.
Yes.
If we're feeling trapped or stuck or unsatisfied, there's something wrong with the way we're doing things or what we're doing at the moment. So that should be, you know, kind of like a signal for you to look into something else. And perhaps apply your skills in a different direction.
And you know, as human beings, and you know, we're so influenced by our parents and their work ethics. You know, I come from a Caribbean family, and the work ethic is really strong, and they believe in, if you find a job, you stay there for 40 years, you know, and that's not who we are.
We have to always question ourselves why we're doing what we're doing. And is that what you're doing really brings you satisfaction and fulfillment? Are you feeling happy? So, and the answers to those questions are really indicator of where you're at right now. Is that the point that you want to be repeating again, or perhaps there's something you need to change.
Yeah. But we're afraid to ask those questions. Because if you ask those questions, then that means you have to do something about it. And some of us are not ready to do something about it. Or we feel like we have to quit the job today and like start your entrepreneurship journey. But it doesn't have to be that way. It can be slow in its transition. It doesn't have to be quick. We have to be very methodical about what we do and how we do it. Especially if you got bills, you got kids, you got, you don't want to be like, forget this job. I'm just, you want to be smart, but you want to be strategic. And that's why I go back to something like a good coach, will help you develop your strategy on how, you should best do it. And even then, even with a coach, if it's not something that you feel comfortable with, like you were saying, then don't do it. Right. People are just there to advise. They can't tell you what to do with your life. Ultimately, you have to decide.
Yeah, I feel like coach is there for you to feel safe and to be willing to kind of look into yourself in a deeper way, to understand your own desires, your own feelings, and how it's there for you to kind of like help you discover your true passion, your true voice. And you can always talk about your feelings and what inspires you, and maybe while you exploring yourself, you will find a way, or the insight will come, like the idea will pop up in your mind, and it will help you to choose the right direction in life.
Yeah. We have to trust our sixth sense. We have those senses, and we know, just like when you're in trouble, or like you're not feeling well, the same way when something is a good fit for you, or or sometimes maybe we don't know something is a good fit for us, but we know when something is not good for us.
Right.
You have that sense, you have that inner compass, that inner compass and intuition, exactly, to help you get to where you need to go.
Right. I know you're doing your coaching practice right now, and what is the techniques that you're utilizing to help other women?
Right. I'm a big proponent, like my coaching is centered around self-talk. And I think what we don't realize, because we do it so much automatically, is that we talk to ourselves all day long, right? But the thing that we fail to realize is that we're not paying attention to what we're saying to ourselves on a daily basis, and whether it's negative or it's positive. Right. So my work is around helping women or men, I've had some men be interested, really to start to pay attention to what they say to themselves, right? Yes. And first I have them take a day where they're being very cognizant, like very deliberate in listening into what they're saying to themselves for a whole 24 hours. 24 hours. And that's and I did it for myself, and I was like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. You wonder how you survive, because the majority of the time we're like, and it's the simplest statement sometimes, like, ugh, I can't do this. It's not a big deal, but it's a big deal. Yeah. So that's the work that I do, because I firmly believe once you have control of how you speak to yourself, there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah, that's true. And what we speak to ourselves, this is something we believe in. And all of those deep rooted beliefs within us, it's just started with an idea as a thought, and it became kind of rooted for a long time, and it's just on repeat all day long. And whenever, if we don't start paying attention or asking ourselves, why are we thinking about it, or is it really true?
Right.
then it could be something that really like leading our lives,
Right.
and without us even knowing. It's
Yeah.
just on the background, working on its own. So the thing is we have the power to change them.
Yep.
And in your practice, you work with people, helping them to kind of like recognize those thoughts and change them in the way that would be beneficial for them.
Absolutely, but sometimes, sadly, for many people, it's so deeply rooted. It's basically based on how your parents raised you and all the things that your parents say, and sometimes it's a little bit more than coaching, and that's when it becomes therapy, right?
Yes.
But most people are. It's just like their everyday life, and they're able through coaching to be able to start changing the way that they speak to themselves. But I mean, we take on thoughts that are not even ours. Like, it's just like stuff that we heard our parents say that they may not even have said to us, but we're just kind of like, oh, that's how my mom said it or saw it, and that's what she believed, and so you adopt it. It's not yours. So it's learning like what is beneficial to you. Is it your thought? Yes. Is it someone else's thought? Okay. Do you want it? No. Okay. How can you change it? Right? And so that's part of the process.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's something everybody should be aware of on a daily basis. To how they start their day, what is their intention, what are they thinking about at any point of time, and is it really something that's serving you to achieve what you want? So that's the question. Do you want to think about it?
Right. I tell people when I wake up, majority of the weeks when I wake up, days when I wake up, I say it was a great day. I'm using the past tense. It was a great day because I'm declaring it was a great day. And I go through my day, I think about my day, and I think about all the things that I need to do, and I visualize the outcome, right, in a positive way. And along the way, I'm talking to myself, and I'm telling myself, I'm awesome. Look what I did well, and you're gonna do well. You're gonna speak so eloquently on Anna's podcast, and just like things like that. Just to get and it has to come to fruition because that's what I deeply believe, right? But it's a lot of work, and I'm still. It's something that I do all the time for myself. I don't feel like I've become such a master that I'm not working on it daily, and I'm still learning. Actually, I'm learning. The more deeper I learn, there are 5 levels of self-talk. 5.
Wow.
So, So it's so multi-layered, so multi-layered. That but we're so unaware.
Yeah, and I think this is something we should tell our listeners to kind of start recognizing, start being aware of your thoughts, of your feelings, and perhaps maybe you can ask yourself, why is this happening with me? Why do I feel this way? Is it something I want in my life? And depending on what the answers are, maybe you can just take charge and kind of change it for yourself. You have the power. And thank you for everything that you do, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will benefit from it. I will include the link in the description of this podcast for your coaching practice. So if somebody is interested, of course, they can check it out. And I'm glad that we had this time today to talk. A very interesting conversation. And if anything else you want to tell our listeners,
yes, I'm very passionate about what I do in terms of coaching, and I really want people to transcend the life that they're living now, right? If you're not happy with your life, then there is something that you can do about it. And I truly believe it starts with the relationship that you have with yourself, and specifically how you speak to yourself on a daily basis. So, you know, I look forward to helping many people just change that around for themselves. Yeah. And thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
enjoy your day. Thank you, everybody who's listening. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit the subscribe button and share it with others. Stay tuned.